Hi, welcome to Rewind Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
No Lori today. She's on vacation. We're
Yeah.
trying something different today. We're doing Riverside.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments what you think. If you like this format or you like us sitting next to each other, let us know.
Yeah. We love
So,
feedback.
absolutely. Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about Vanderpump Season 11, Episode 10. We start out with Katie, Allie, and Lala working out in the park with their friend Jenna. Um, Listen, I mean, these girls are all in really good shape. I don't know that they actually work out. I mean, Lala has said that she does not.
How did she not work out and have that body? Like, that's
Good
irritating.
genes. It
I guess
is irritating.
so.
Good genes, right?
That's
And she's talking,
crazy.
it is crazy, right? She's talking about how she's doing a water tasting and she's having her water sommelier come over. I mean, only in LA does such a thing
Yes,
exist.
for sure.
I mean,
For sure.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Um,
I
Ariana's
did
looking
love
for her.
that Katie was like not down with the exercising. Like, I'm not a Katie fan, but I was
No,
totally there for her commentary about working out.
yeah, I was too. I was
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Um, Ariana is looking for an assistant, and Anne goes upstairs to tell Tom she's helping Anne. She's helping. Anne works from 11 all day and hangs out even if there's nothing to do. So Ariana is telling Anne what she's looking for an assistant, and she shows up in like a suit, like in a blazer, in like
Yeah.
an interview
Like for a real
attire.
interview.
Right. And Tom, we see, is kind of upstairs eavesdropping as to what's going on. And he realizes what's happening and he's pissed. He's like, listen, she's taken all my friends and now she's going to take my assistant. I kind of don't blame him, to be quite
I don't
honest
blame
with
him
you.
either. But
Yeah.
I mean, if what they're saying, like that she had to like pick up soiled underwear, then like I read that somewhere. That's
Well, I
gross.
did.
So
I did read that, but I was listening to Kristen Doty's new podcast, and she had on Zach from the Valley,
hmm
because they're good friends. Like, Zach came from Kentucky and was Brittany's friend, but Kristen and Zach are really good friends. And he was saying that he used to be an assistant. Like, that's something he used to do.
like when
And
he first moved
he
out
did,
to LA.
yes, and he did way worse than what Anne is doing. So
Interesting.
I guess it may be common practice, you know?
Right.
It may
Right.
be it may be common practice. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Schwartz goes over to Brock and Sheena's and brings another plant. I mean, what is with him bringing these plants?
I don't
I mean, I
know.
think, and then he brings a hat for Summer Moon, that cute little hat.
That was cute.
Yeah. Um, Ariana goes over to Katie's apartment and they're talking about Anne and what happened and how Anne was crying because Tom came down on her because she was, talking to her about being her assistant and he told her to go home. She
Now,
said that,
why do you think they wouldn't have filmed that if that happened?
well,
Why wouldn't they have filmed Tom's reaction? They showed him. They showed
right,
him listening. So why wouldn't they have shown him confronting her about it?
good question. Unless he waited until they left,
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
Because
Maybe.
they were going someplace else. I don't know because, what he says is that he told her that he needed a few days and sent her home. That's what he says
Oh,
when they're at
right.
the beach.
Right.
He says that he didn't fire her, but she has
Right.
since come out and on her podcast, which is I had an NDA or I have an NDA. I'm not sure which now I hear he may be pursuing the NDA because she's talking about him, which
Well,
she
that's what I
really
was just going
shouldn't
to
be.
say. She should change the name of her podcast because she is not honoring that NDA.
Exactly. Exactly.
She's doing a
So I don't
terrible
know.
job.
She really is. She really is. Um, they talk and then they also talk about Scheana having Max's location. So that's been a big topic since we found out all the locations that Scheana has. But as pointed out by Lala and Scheana and many other people,
You have to agree to it.
they all you have to agree to it, and you can revoke it at
Absolutely.
any time. And after the episode came out, Scheana said on her podcast, other people have since shared their location with her.
Yeah, like
Other friends.
you don't have to share your location. It's just like Venmo. I'm private
Right.
on Venmo. Nobody needs to see who
Right.
I'm paying and for what.
Right. Right.
I mean, you have to agree to that. You can turn that off at any time.
Yes, you can. So I there's no need for people to be giving her a hard time about it. That's what I'm saying, you know?
No. I mean, your kids, I'm sure your kids have their friends on there. I know my kids have their friends on there.
I would imagine they do. I don't really know. I mean,
I think it's
know
like on
one
Snapchat.
Oh, it is on Snapchat. And I know one of my children whose phone I control does not have any location sharing except for with me, but that's because I control it. But the other ones, you know, you do you. I don't care.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I don't care. And I wonder if it is. It probably is on Snapchat, like, or unless they have a map or something.
It's Snap Map. Like, I think that's what it's called. Snap Map.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, like, I know on Snapchat you can do it, but I'm saying unless they have like a separate app like Life 360, like how else are they sharing their location? I would imagine it's probably through Snapchat, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't realize that Lala was doing her water tasting over at Allie and James' house.
It's funny because I feel like Bravo's so shady. They always show the airplanes flying, but this is the second event they're having at James's house. There was something else there. The girls' night.
Well, he had the pool party there too.
He had the pool party, and then she had the girls' night where she did the reading. So I guess that was their events. But yeah, so Lala's choosing to have it there too.
Yeah. I mean, maybe because she didn't want to do it at her own place and it was just easier.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I guess at that point she was still living in an apartment and, you know.
Yeah, they have a backyard.
It's easier to do it. Yeah. It's just easier.
Yeah.
So everyone shows up to that water tasting, the whole crew. Then Martin says that he's the Harry Potter of water. He's the water sommelier, right? The guy who's doing it. And then
I don't really get the Harry Potter reference, but have at it.
I don't either. I mean, but the drinking of the $1,000 bottle of water, the only one in the United States. I mean, how true do we really think that is?
I don't know. It's all water. Because two springs go into one. Like, that can't be that rare. Springs have to meet up at some point.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I call bullshit too. And who's paying that? Fucking idiots out there in Hollywood. They have nothing better to spend their money on. $1,000 bottle of water.
So Ariana, while she's there with Tom, and she is being very, very passive aggressive, making all these comments about him, like no matter what he does, she's talking of every move that he makes. Like he's helping, get the pizza. He's doing this. He's doing that. She's like, why is he doing that? Well, what do you care? Why do you have to comment on what it is he's doing?
I still think it's too soon. Like now it's been a year or whatever it's been. This is still only 3 months since they broke up. It's way too soon for them to try to coexist out. Like I know they're still living together, but they can separate themselves. It was way too soon for them to be out with friends together in a space like
filming.
That. The bar was one thing because lots of stuff going on, but this was just too intimate of a setting, I think, for that short of amount of time from the breakup.
Yeah, and
but
then
she
the
was
girls
dating somebody else already.
Absolutely.
She was.
I mean, they did try and break it up a bit too, because the girls were inside talking about what was going on with Anne, and then the guys were outside talking,
Right.
Which I thought that was good how they tried to break it up. I liked how Katie came out in the back to talk to Schwartz, and he says to her, "Is there anything you want to talk about?" And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, Max is my best friend. And she's like, well, you'd been doing this for how long? And she agrees that she's not going to sleep with any more of his friends. Like,
To be
I do
honest with
like
you,
their
though,
banter.
I do too. I don't think Katie was in the wrong here at all.
No,
I think
I don't
Max
either.
is a giant douchebag and a very
Yeah,
bad friend, but I don't think Katie did anything wrong. Fuck that.
I don't either. I don't either. I don't
Yeah.
either. I like their banter. I like how they get along, or
Mm-hmm.
how they coexist, I should say. I like how they coexist. I thought it was screwed up when Sandoval made the comment about when he came in, when he was listening to them bad mouthing him, and he went off on Ariana. He's like, I thought that our breakup was going to be more civil than, Katie and Schwartz's. Well, why would you think that? I mean, Schwartz never did to Katie what you did to Ariana. Like, seriously? Are you
Yeah.
that much out of touch as to what happened?
I mean, under the circumstances that they broke up, it's like what did you expect?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like ignorant. That's ignorant that he said that.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And then, Lala in her confessional, they're arguing about the dog and the food and all that, locking in the room and him going in the
Oh,
room because of the air conditioner. When she said, take out your trash, you did a trash bag commercial. I thought, listen, she's right.
she is
She's right.
right. She should have said it right then and there, though. But I
I
think,
know. I
again,
know.
at the time, they were still tiptoeing around Ariana because of the timing. But let me say, and I don't know, I think I might have said it last week, she's a fucking pig, Ariana. That bedroom is disgusting. And if your dog is getting into your leftovers 24 hours or however many hours, listen, 1 hour after you're done eating, and eating in your bed is disgusting enough. 1 hour after
Right.
eating in your bed, take your trash out because that's disgusting. She does seem very lazy.
Yeah. I Listen, I don't believe in eating in a bedroom. I don't believe in having
Mm-mm.
food in your bedroom. I mean, but that's just me. You have a whole house. I get it. You're
Yep.
not getting along with him, but there's a kitchen downstairs. Put it in the
There's
refrigerator.
that's a big house. There are other rooms for
Right.
you to go eat in. It's
Right.
gross. She's gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I also thought it was interesting that the interior designer shows up and she's going through everything and how she's got the itemized lists of everything that was paid for and by who it was paid for and when it was purchased.
Okay, but wait, before we get there, how
Okay.
about how about Ariana saying at the water thing, he took
To Schwartz.
her dream home away from her
Oh,
for her kids.
yes.
Are you kidding? You've said since the beginning you don't want kids. I know you
No, no,
froze your
she was referring to her animals. She was
Oh,
referring to her
that's
dog and
what
her
she was
cat.
referring to?
Yes. She was referring to her dog
I
and her
thought she was
cat
really
as
talking
her.
about kids. I'm like, I know you froze your
No,
eggs, but that bitch has
no,
no intention on having kids. Let's be clear.
no.
She
She
has
was
said it from the
talking about her
beginning.
animals. Well, she now has changed her stance on that since she's
Oh,
with
I know.
Danny. Yeah. But no,
I
she was
still don't
referring
believe
to
it.
her animals. She was referring to her
Okay.
animals. And then
And
she
I'm
did
not
say,
rolling my eyes because I don't think animals should be considered kids because we don't have any animals, but I know that people do consider their animals their kids. I'm not rolling my eyes at that. I'm rolling my eyes at her because I think she's just looking for things to make him look bad. Listen, he's doing a good job of looking bad all on his own. She
oh,
should just
I
sit back
agree.
and let him implode.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And just as he was storming out, Ariana says to Schwartz, "Now I'm mad at you again by association." Like poor Schwartz.
I,
Do
I
anything again.
know. He's collateral damage.
He is. He really is. But he takes it in stride.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Um, okay, so Lucinda's giving her, telling her that she's got the breakdown of everything that was purchased for the house and who paid for what, which, that's good that she has that.
Yeah.
so Ariana can get whatever it is she wants for, her portion of it.
Yeah.
Then next they do the beach day, another big disaster. I don't know, what like listen, set up further apart. If you're going to separate, don't put your blankets and tent right next to each other and start talking shit about her.
Well, Brock, again, trying to earn that
Yeah.
paycheck. I mean, he's the
Yeah.
best dad. He's painting Summer Moon's nails and stuff, but he's messy. And obviously, like I said, I think he's just trying to earn that check.
He is
But
trying to earn that check, but I did hear Andy say that, first of all, we're going to be surprised at the reunion that Brock is actually like very level headed and like the voice of reason and really stepping up. Like he's very happy with Brock and also Allie. He says that they're going to come out like looking very good at,
yeah, I mean,
at the
and,
end of
and
the
I think
day.
he is very reasonable, and I think that he does offer some good advice, but he's also stirring the pot. Nobody else was bringing up that Max and Katie slept together. And what did he say? What did he say this time? Oh, he said something
He
about Sandoval flirting with Raquel, right? Like he brought that up.
he did. Oh, we did? I don't remember that. I know he definitely was like bringing up stuff that, I thought they were talking about the dating thing, that they
He
were going to
brought
go to
up
some
something about
singles thing.
Raquel, like, because Sandoval tries to act like he's got no game, which is so
Oh,
non-believable.
oh,
Brock brought something up about him flirting with, like, oh, is that how you flirted with Raquel? Or something like
oh,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. Because
Yeah.
I do remember that they were talking about going to some singles thing, and Schwartz says to Katie, "Oh, you want to come and be my date?" They were all going to go to the singles event.
Yeah. Yeah. But they clearly, I mean, Ariana and Tom should just not be around each other yet. They probably can right
Yeah,
now, but not at this point
I
during
did.
filming. But that's another thing
Yeah,
about Bravo. Bravo's going to shove those cameras in their faces. So it's at the expense of Tom and Ariana. I know they have to sign up for it, but Bravo's
yeah,
not going to be like, you go take care of your business and then we'll start filming, whenever.
yeah.
Just like with Jersey, I think it was a huge mistake for them to start filming right away after the last reunion. But we'll see.
Yes, we're gonna see. I mean, there's a lot of shit coming out about that.
Did you see
I'm
Rachel
I'm
crop
looking.
Teresa out of the picture?
I didn't see the picture, but I read about it. But it's not,
Yes.
then I saw other
My
pictures
girl.
they where they have like smiley faces over everybody but Teresa, Jen, and Dolores, because they're not right next to each other, so it'd be too hard to crop out. Like,
Right, right. Dolores got the middle
I don't know.
spot in that group photo.
Oh well, she should have the middle spot because she is Switzerland.
It's interesting, though. I wonder what Teresa thought of that.
Oh, I don't think Teresa cares because she doesn't want to be near any of those other girls. For the further away from them as possible.
I don't. I think they're individual shots that they put together, though. I don't think they're all standing next to each other when they take the picture.
Oh,
I could be
okay.
wrong, but I don't think they
Yeah,
are.
I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at it again and see.
Yeah,
Even if, yeah, I don't even know if we can tell. I mean, not the way Photoshop works nowadays.
I know. I know.
All right, I think that's it for VPR, right? You have anything else?
No, I really don't. I'm good.
Okay.
At
So
halfway
next
through
we'll
the
go.
episode, I was like, it's only halfway through the episode.
I know. I
But
know.
that's all right.
Listen, I think it's going to get really good. I really think once we get, I mean, the finale I hear is amazing. So I'm
That's
really
coming
looking
up,
forward to the
though. Is the
finale.
season almost over already?
I think there's 5 or 6 more episodes,
Oh
even
my
though we're on
gosh.
episode 10. I think it was a long season. We're on episode 10.
And it's just going to be the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, well, we'll
All
watch
right, so
it.
on to the Valley.
Yeah.
Episode 3 of the Valley. Jax and Brittany are recapping the girls' night and what Jax did by inviting Alex, Kristen's ex, to the boys' night with Luke there, and how he
Goofball.
kind of blindsided him. It was just stupid.
And he's such
It's
a
just so stupid.
goofball.
He really is. He really
Ugh.
is. And it's funny because I think I mentioned to you, I listened to their podcast this week, Jax and Brittany, but it was actually Jax and Danny
Oh.
from the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Valley.
yeah. Yes,
And
yes, yes, yes.
Danny was actually calling him out on it. Like and him and Danny have been friends for a very, very long time. He's calling him out on it. Like, listen, man, like you should not have done that. What you did was wrong. I'm not hanging out with any of my exes. And Jack's like, yeah, but I'm friends with all my exes. He goes, yeah, but that's weird. You are the
Yeah.
exception, not the rule.
Right.
Nia and I have a
Right.
very good relationship. But if I slept with somebody or she slept with somebody, we do not need to be hanging out with them. There's no need for
Right.
it. And he
Right.
was making it perfectly clear how he stood on that, which I thought was good. But
Yeah,
Jax doesn't
absolutely.
listen anyway. He
No.
doesn't listen.
No, he's going to do
So
whatever he thinks he has to do to stay relevant and on TV. Did you see the video of Jax and Tom Sandoval? I don't know if Schwartz was there, but they were doing one of the, I don't know if it was Backstreet Boys or In Sync. I Like It That Way. They were doing that in Jax's bar, and they were dancing and singing, and just watching it, you're like, oh my God, how are these guys ever friends? Because they were so trying to outdo each other. Like Sandoval, like really thought he was fucking Justin Timberlake up there. It was so ridiculous. And then there's a third guy doing it with them too, but that guy was just being normal, like, goofing around.
like a
But they
normal
were like so
karaoke kind of
serious
thing.
about it. Yes. But they just incorporated the dancing, and it did look like it was at Jax's bar, but I say Jax's bar, and it's really not his bar because he put no money into it.
But it's got his name on it.
It's got his name on it, so I guess he's making some kind of money off of it, but it can't be much,
Well, I mean,
right?
he was there doing the interview of the employees. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Exactly.
Yeah, it's exhausting watching him. So we finally see
It
what the
is.
girls were yelling about.
Yes. Yes, we do. What are your
Now,
thoughts on this?
well, my immediate thought is that it's a very sad, sad thing that someone in Hollywood can't admit that they're a Republican because they'll be blackballed, and it's what did he say? Kiss of death? A death sentence. What's his name? Zach?
Yeah.
He said it's a death
Zach.
sentence.
Yeah. Wait. So
To
here it
me,
is. Zach said his exact words. If I call someone, if I call someone a Republican LA, that is the death sentence. That is social suicide moment. You better be on the DL. If you're a Republican, you will not get invited to anything.
that's disgusting. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm a Republican. I'm just saying that that's disgusting. That people in LA or in that surrounding area cannot freely speak their truth, basically. And let's put it this way, people at home. Whether you're Republican or Democrat or liberal or socialist or communist or whatever the fuck you are, these people, these politicians don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. The Democrats don't care about you. The Republicans don't care about, nobody cares about you. So, like, to not be able to say that you support a specific party, that's how I feel about that. I think that's terrible. Because this poor girl might be a Republican. And you know what? That's okay. And it doesn't, just being a Republican does not have to equate to a Trump supporter either.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, because I think that was thrown in there, right? I'm not making that up. Somebody threw that in there
No,
about being
I
a
mean,
Trump
listen,
supporter.
anytime you say Republican, Trump is always thrown in there.
Yeah,
Anytime you say it. And it's interesting because, people, when it comes to politics, are so kind of black and white.
for sure.
I kind of equate it to like religion. You know how Heather was saying that Lisa is a Mormon 2.0? Like
Yes. Yes.
like you could either be it one way or like it has to be their way or it's not at all. Same thing with
Right.
politics. Like if you claim to be a Republican, you have to believe everything that the Republicans stand for. That's not true.
It's not
If you
true.
claim to be a Democrat, you have to believe everything the Democrats stand for. That's not true.
It's not
If
true.
you
Just like
claim to
being
be a
Catholic,
Catholic,
you can be Catholic and believe in gay marriage. I do. Like,
right, exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
Just because you're Catholic doesn't mean that you don't stand in support of the LGBTQ plus IA community. Like, two
exactly.
things can be true. Everything
Right.
doesn't have to be so finite, so black and white.
Right.
And I don't like when they do that. I don't like when they put things in a box. And the
No,
people that are
but
usually putting things in a box,
I totally believe what he said. I totally believe that in Hollywood, you will be blackballed. You will be cut off
I no,
if you say you're
I
Republican.
agree.
That's why they're all leaving. All these people are leaving Hollywood and starting their own production companies in other states.
Yeah. No,
I
I
don't know.
agree. And I just think it's sad that all these people that are actually putting people in the box are supposed to be the ones that are so carefree
And open-minded.
and open-minded, and rules don't really apply to me, but let me just put everybody in a box.
Right.
Like, it doesn't. They're the ones that don't want to check the box. They don't want a box, but they want to put people in a box.
Right.
Like, we don't want to check a box as to what our gender is, but if you say you're a Republican, then you're in this box.
Right.
What?
Right.
I mean, how can that be? It just is. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. I don't agree with that at all. And I'm not saying I'm one side or the other, because I've never declared a party ever. I vote for who I think will do the best job. It's just a shame, and like I said, those politicians don't give a shit about us.
No, but they don't, and they don't. They really don't.
Care
and
about
honestly,
us.
I'm going to say this here, and I'm going to say this now. It doesn't even matter who wins this next presidential election. I've said this before. We're fucked either way. And I don't like to curse, but honestly.
You really don't. So
really
you must be passionate about this.
I don't. I don't like to curse, but really, that's how I feel. It's like they're both bad. There's not a good option. There's not a good option.
If it's who we think it's going to be running, it's terrible.
It is.
And we're screwed either way. We're screwed.
We are. I said it here and I said it now. And I stand by it.
Me too. I stand by your statement.
All right. So next we'll go on to Kristen and Janet. Kristen said that Janet said Michelle is a racist and a Republican. So this just goes back to the whole telephone game too, by the way. This is like the telephone game. You didn't hear it firsthand, and you can't go repeating stuff that you heard from somebody else, because that never goes well, ever.
Right.
Like, when you hear something like that, you need to go to the source immediately, which is exactly what Michelle did.
Yes, she did.
Michelle
I really like her.
I do too, because Janet wasn't there, because Janet is pregnant at this time,
right?
And for whatever reason, she wasn't feeling well or whatever. She wasn't at that dinner when it was brought up. So she's like, "I'm going to call her. I'm going to call her and see what she said." I mean, I'm not going to play this game of going around everyone's back and And the bottom line is, with this whole thing, and believe it or not, I think it's ironic that Jesse was the voice of reason. Because I'm not a huge Jesse fan, but Kristen just needed to take accountability and say, listen, I did say this. I was wrong. I apologize. I should not have repeated something that I overheard, whether it was true or it wasn't true. It's not my place to blurt it out. Just apologize. And she wasn't doing that.
No.
She wasn't doing that.
Nope. And then she threw Zach under the bus, and he was pissed. He seemed pissed.
He did seem pissed, but like I said, he was on her podcast the other day, so whatever happened, they're friends again.
Honestly, I think Kristen is the example of somebody who should never be on reality TV. I really don't think she's very stable. I hate to say that, but she's just not. She's just not a very stable person. No,
I mean, she's really what she is, a loose cannon. And she kind of admits it. In her confessional, she's sitting there, she's crying because Jesse, does call her out on it. You were fired. You were fired.
Hey, did you see that girl Faith? Did you see that girl Faith is suing Bravo?
And NBC Universal, I sure did. I'm sure it came after this.
I think them putting Kristen back on TV is part of it. I mean, she's also saying that she was... what's the word I'm looking for? you know, she experienced some unfair treatment and she attributes it to her color. But I do think them putting Kristen back on TV after being fired for what she was fired for is also part of the basis of her filing that complaint.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
why
sure.
not?
Because we haven't seen Faith since then, have we?
No,
I
no.
don't
She is
I
the
don't think
one
we
that
have,
Jax
right?
cheated on Brittany with, right?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
thought so. I thought so.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right,
Yep.
so Brittany and Kristen meet up and they're complaining about how hot it is, yet Kristen's got boots on.
No, I didn't pick that up.
Oh, yeah, I picked that up. I mean, dress accordingly.
Yeah, definitely dress accordingly.
They call Zach.
They call Zach, and you know, listen, Zach is messy too.
I think
Zach is
Zach
messy
might be a
too.
little messy. Yeah, Zach might be a little
Yeah,
messy.
yeah. I mean, I know he was calling out Kristen and Jax, but he's right there.
Yeah,
He's right there.
yeah.
Um, what about when Michelle and Jesse are meeting with the life coach?
That
They
life
have a
coach
life
was pretty
coach for their,
hot.
yeah,
He was
that's
good
their marriage
looking. You know,
counselor.
I
They
love
don't,
a bald
he,
head, so
yeah,
he had me
yeah,
at
you
bald
do.
head. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
hard
they
to
were meeting.
watch.
It was hard to watch. It was hard to watch. Scott asks what needs are not being met, and Michelle starts crying and says a lot of her needs aren't being met. And I think it was really hard for Jesse to hear that because, I think he's oblivious. I do. I do think he's oblivious.
I think it's a combination. I think you're right. I think he's oblivious. I think that he's hard on her and she feels like nothing she ever does is good enough. And I think that
Yeah.
that happens to a lot of new moms with the fathers. I think there's a huge expectation from the moms, like from the husbands on the wife. You know, they think about their moms and how their mom, and that's fine. But I do think that new moms have a lot of pressures put on them from their husbands. And I think that this is the case here. And, that there's
Well,
nothing worse than not feeling like you're doing enough, especially when it comes to being a mom.
yeah. Well, he's admitted that he wasn't present. I mean, their daughter's 3 years and 9 months old. I
Yeah,
mean, the child is not a baby anymore,
right.
and he really wasn't there. And like you just said, she feels like it was all on her shoulders. And even when she explains that, Jesse says to Scott, so okay, so if I give her, because he's like, she said you never compliment me. He goes, okay, so if I compliment her for 2 months, then will things be better? And they're like, no, because you're not doing it for the right. You're not getting it.
Right.
You're not just to
Because
compliment her
then
and
what
get what
happens
you
after the
want.
2 months? You get
Right,
laid and then you stop doing it again until you need to get laid
right.
again? Like what are you in middle well not middle school, but high
Yeah,
school?
yeah, yeah. It's just,
And
he just doesn't get it.
it's very difficult to obviously your sex life as a married couple changes from the time when you don't have children to when you have a baby and then a toddler and like everything changes and you have to be willing to accept that. I'm not saying that it
Right,
should never happen, but the frequency is going to be a little less.
right, right. Okay, then what do we see next? Janet and Jason are trying to get ready for the baby with the nursery.
And I love
And they're,
Jason, and I think he's a very smart man. But did he really say, well, we don't have to have the nursery done before the baby comes? Did you hear him say that?
well, I did hear him say that because what he was saying is that technically the baby's not going to be in the nursery because the baby's going to be in their room.
And
But,
I get that,
you
but
know,
you want the clothes
for
away,
her
you want
peace
the
of mind.
changing table set up. Like, yeah,
Right.
for her peace of
Yeah,
mind.
right. And
Yeah,
he conceded to that, for her peace of mind. Like, yeah, we'll get it ready, but, technically it doesn't need to be. But,
right,
you know,
right.
by the way, my kids never slept in my room. My
Me
kids
neither.
never slept in my room. Yeah.
I think Tess did like for a couple of nights in the bassinet, but my house is so small and our bedrooms are so damn close to each other. I put her in her crib, as soon as I could. We didn't
I
even
didn't
really
even
use a
have a
bassinet.
bassinet.
Yeah, I think
I
I
didn't want a
had one, but I
bassinet. I didn't.
barely used it.
I mean, like my house was very small too. It was 900 square feet when William and Andrew were babies.
Yeah, so
So
you're
I
right
mean,
there.
yeah, like there's no need for that. But
No.
honestly, I don't think I'd do it even if there was a need for that because
No, like why
why? I
get
don't
them
know.
used
That's
to
just me.
something and then have to change? Like it's enough to get the binky away from them, to get them off the bottle, there's enough
To
things to
get
do.
right, right, exactly. Yep. Okay, so then Michelle, Brittany, and Janet were at dinner a few months ago, and Michelle said something like, "Don't say gay laws protect children." So this is how this whole thing came up,
That's
right?
exactly what it comes
This is
down to. Yep.
right. Don't say gay laws protect children. Janet says, "No, you are wrong." Janet said she was talking to Jasmine about it because she has read up on this bill. There was some bill that was trying to be passed in California, and I'm
Oh,
sure it's about
I
the
thought it
whole
was Florida,
education.
by the way. I think it was Florida. I don't even think this had anything to do with California yet.
Oh, oh,
I
oh,
thought. I
okay.
could
I
be
was
wrong
assuming
though.
Listen, I know that there was one in Florida. I was assuming California because that's where they are. But
Right.
maybe it was the one in Florida. Maybe
I
it
was
was the
thinking
one in
that
Florida
maybe
that they were
because,
talking about.
DeSantis was under fire for that maybe that's when
Yes,
they were discussing it.
that very well could be. I mean,
Yeah.
that very well could be.
Yeah.
And so Janet was saying that, you know, that Jasmine has done a lot of reading up on this, that Jasmine knows a lot about this law, that maybe if she overheard Michelle like talking about it, maybe that she could educate her on what the situation was, right? And as soon as Jasmine's name came out, she's like, I want no part of this. Like, and I don't blame her. Like, why is she getting brought into this whole thing, right?
Right. 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 And because she said it that night at Michelle's house, like,
Right,
leave me out of this. Leave my name out of this.
right. Don't bring me into this,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
this is even before they get to the dinner. This conversation happens about how this whole thing came out, like what perpetuated this, where this whole rumor came up, right? So then they're all going to the hills, to the mansion that
Oh,
Michelle
the
and Jesse,
house.
yes, $18.5 million
Beautiful.
for the gorgeous, gorgeous. Um, I also liked it. I laughed when I heard this. Well, Jesse is talking about how they're having a sophisticated, it's a sophisticated night. And Michelle explained that he doesn't need to say sophisticated for it to be sophisticated.
Right.
And I liken that to the word class. Anytime I feel anyone says the word, oh, that's classy, or isn't that classy? Like, it's not. Like, if you have to say
It
that
almost
word,
negates it.
it negates it. And I feel the
Yeah.
same way about sophisticated. And when Michelle said that, I was like, "Ooh, I'm on your page, girl."
And by the way, what is the alternative? You're gonna set this all up
Right,
and have it not be like you're
right,
trying to sell
exactly.
an
What's it gonna be,
$18 million
trashy?
house. It fucking better be sophisticated.
Exactly, exactly. Um, and then we
J-
meet Jasmine's girlfriend, Melissa, because they're on the way to the party.
she's beautiful. And did you hear where she's from?
Maplewood, New Jersey,
Yup, Jersey girl.
which is which is where Jasmine's from,
Yeah,
which I
they
didn't know
both
that.
are, right? They both are.
Yeah, yeah, which I love that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Um, and so Jasmine then, for whatever reason, I guess they must have asked her. She said that she's always been fluid with her sexuality, but if she had to put a label on it, she would say she's bisexual.
Hmm.
Again, I don't think we need to put labels on anything. Like,
No.
why? You know,
Right.
just be you.
Yep.
You don't have to put everything in a box. You don't have to check a box
Exactly.
for everything.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then Janet maintains that she needs Kristen to admit that she made this up. And as we see, that Kristen can't just do that, you know?
It was interesting to hear the backstory from Janet that they had been close, very close, up to what she said about a year ago. And then she started seeing some behavior in Kristen and had to distance herself. Which,
Yeah.
you know, we saw Katie and Stassi do on Vanderpump also. Like, they had to distance themselves because of her erratic behavior.
I mean, they don't call her Crazy Kristen for nothing.
Yeah, like she needs some help. Like her friends need to rally around her. I mean, maybe they have, who knows. She needs some help though.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. I mean, even when she shows up, she hugs Michelle as like nothing had happened and says that, we need to talk when you get a chance. Well, no, not here. Really?
Right.
No.
Right.
So then they're at dinner. I mean, it kind of comes out immediately. Janet says at dinner, she announces that, Kristen said that I said that Michelle is a racist, and she puts it all out there on the table, and that's when everything blows up, and Jesse starts yelling, and then Luke gets involved because all he has running through his mind is that how dare you speak to Kristen like that because grabbed her nipple, but he
Right.
knows what she did. Kristen told him what she did.
Right.
He knows what happened. So,
Right.
I mean, I like that he's standing by her side, but really, like, that wasn't the way to do it. It really wasn't. I mean,
No, and I do think that he was being protective because of how Jesse went. I mean, Jesse flew off the handle, but he flew off the handle
he did.
protecting his wife.
Right. Exactly.
So honestly,
Exactly.
it's a big pissing contest. It's a big whose dick is bigger, basically, contest between Luke and Jesse at this point.
It is.
We're losing focus on where this started.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, Jesse really goes low with Kristen and says, "Listen, you were fired in 2020 for being a racist." And the exact date was June 9th, 2020, because then Kristen in her, confessional, says that was the worst time of my life. I really spiraled. Okay, well, did you learn anything from it?
If that's true, then why are you trying to do it to somebody else?
Right.
Somebody who was your good friend. Why are you doing that?
Exactly.
I mean,
That's exactly my.
and what is her ethnicity? She's Mexican and Michelle, I'm saying. Mexican
Oh, Michelle.
and oh,
I forget, but
I
he
know
did
it's like on
say.
the tip of my tongue, and I thought I wrote it down. But anyway,
I did not write it down. Yeah.
what are the Shahs? Persian. I believe it's
okay.
Mexican and Persian. I believe, but I mean, not saying that not anybody could be racist. But listen, I don't think the poor girl is racist. I think that she may be a Republican, and that should not equate her to a racist.
Right. Also, it should not equate her to not supporting the LGBTQ plus IA community just because she may or may not be a Republican.
Exactly.
And,
like, can we just stop with the nonsense?
Yeah. Really. I wish people could just see people for who they are and just be kind, because this didn't have to happen. Kristen is the one who started this whole thing.
Yeah.
She's the one who started this whole thing.
And she's playing victim.
Yeah, always. That's her favorite flavor.
Yeah, that's her MO. Yeah.
Is playing victim.
Right.
I mean, I don't think her and Stassi talk at all anymore.
I don't think so. And isn't it amazing that because on Watch What Happens Live, Andy asked Brittany if she was in a better place with Stassi after not going to her wedding, and she said not really. I'd love to know the backstory. Listen, you're choosing to get, and I like Stassi, and I love her husband, but you're choosing to get married in another country. Not everybody can just throw that money around. And Brittany and Jax weren't on a show at the time. Like, maybe they weren't comfortable saying we can't afford it, but maybe they really couldn't afford it.
Yeah, but I don't, is that the reason that they're not in a good place? Is it because they didn't go to the wedding,
It's because
or
of
is
the
it something
wedding, but I
else?
don't know. No, it's
But
because, I mean, that's what Brittany said, but I don't know if there was something else underlying. But the wedding, I believe, was I don't like to use this, the nail in the coffin. I hate using that expression, but
okay, well, you don't have to use.
I know I should have just said something else. The breaking point. The breaking point.
Okay,
I hate that
but you know what?
expression.
So I do remember kind of vaguely when the whole thing was going on with the wedding. I think, and I could be wrong, I think that it was a last minute. They decided not to go after they said they were going.
Yes, I do
Now
think
that's a,
that.
that's that's a different story when you know how expensive it is and you know that the plans have to be made and things are paid for.
Yeah,
Again, like that's a different story than just saying up front, you know,
we can't swing
we
it.
can't afford to go.
We got a kid.
Right.
We're trying to buy a
But
house.
if you said okay, we're going, and then at the last minute said, oh no, we can't go
Yeah,
after,
I think
I don't
that's what
know.
happened. I do think that they pulled
Yeah,
out last minute. So, I mean, maybe it had something to do with. Oh no, they didn't film Stassi's wedding. Her wedding wasn't filmed, right?
no, because she was off. She was off the show too.
Okay, so it had nothing to do with filming. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to know the real story, though. Somebody, please let us know.
Well, Stassi actually just she just signed up with Dear Media. That's the same podcast company that does Scheana's podcast. So Stassi is because I don't know who was doing hers before, but she's rebranded her podcast also, and it's got a
Okay.
whole new look and a whole new name, and now she's part of the Dear Media family. Maybe we should
Okay.
reach out to Dear Media and see if they would like to
I think we should.
sponsor us,
Yeah,
give us a podcast.
I
We'll
think
talk
we
about
should.
other stuff. I mean, we do talk about other stuff.
We do talk about other stuff.
I know.
Are we ready for hot topics?
Oh, sure. I didn't
Do
write
you have
anything
anything
down. Did you
else
write
on the
stuff down?
valley?
I think just what I mentioned to you already about the um oh, I texted it to you.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Did you have anything else about the valley?
Oh, no, 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 no.
Okay.
No.
Oh yeah, what did you say?
What did I text you? Do you remember?
I'm gonna look right now.
Oh, I know. Okay. Okay, here it is. Ariana's brother Jeremy Maddox
Yes.
just recently got engaged to his girlfriend Rachel. And Jax and Brittany were there because I heard this on the podcast from Jax. Danny was supposed to go, and Danny backed out the last minute on Easter to go. They were going to brunch someplace in Malibu, and he backed out the last minute because he was sick and the kids were sick. Jax thought he was, kind of just faking it, but he in fact was sick because he was there for the podcast like a day or two later. Um, but Jax is still friends with Jeremy, and he was there for the engagement, and he was like a part of it, I believe. And then Scheana said on her podcast that a couple days later, she was with Jeremy, and they took a picture together, and they toasted his engagement. She had a bottle of champagne. He came over to her new house, and she toasted, and that she's still friends with him. Like she spent many holidays with him. Like they are
And
still friends.
who is that?
Jeremy
And with
Maddox,
who?
Ariana's brother, with Scheana.
With Scheana. Okay. But he doesn't speak to
With Scheana.
Ariana?
He does not speak to Ariana, and he has reached out to Ariana, but she has not reached out to him. She hasn't responded to him. He's texted her, but she hasn't responded to him.
That's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure what it's all about exactly. Oh, I know what it's
Right.
about. No, I do know what it's about. So what it's about is this is what he said. These were his words that I read. Um, Ariana was not very nice to his then girlfriend, now fiance, Rachel. She was kind of passive aggressive towards her, and he had to make he was standing up for her at Ariana at one point. He was taking Ariana's side, but then I guess it came down to it's either her or me, and he chose her.
Good for him. I mean, I hope
So
it works
that
out for him.
I do too. I do too.
I'd love to know what the beef was between them. Like
Yeah,
why
what
did
yeah.
Ariana not like her? She must have had some kind of reason.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but she must have had some kind of
Yeah,
reason.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's my hot topic there.
Well, I have a couple, but the first one's very sad. I hope I want to offer condolences.
Oh,
Lori Peterson's son Josh passed away. So Lori Peterson, of course, was one of the first Real Housewives of OC, and we saw
yes.
very early on when that poor kid was only like 16 probably when she started filming, and he struggled with substance abuse, and I think he was
Mm-hmm.
35. He was in his 30s and he passed away on Easter Sunday. So that's
Yeah, I saw that.
terrible.
That's sad.
Yeah, yeah, offer her condolences. Um,
Absolutely.
okay, so I just brought this up because of everything going on with Diddy and, the Nickelodeon thing. I read or watched a YouTube on Scott Baio
Oh,
and how he was very inappropriate with Nicole Eggert while he was on Charles in
yes,
Charge.
I heard
And
that.
she was sitting on his lap one time, and then the younger brother, played by Alex Polinsky, was so little, and he thought that was what they did, and he sat on Scott Baio's lap, and Scott Baio like threw him off of his lap and started yelling, like saying you're gay and that's disgusting. And this poor kid like went on to have bad issues because of how Scott Baio treated him on that set. And it really comes down to Scott Baio's inappropriate behavior, really.
Absolutely. I saw that, and I saw that Nicole was standing by him and speaking out with him to
The
support him.
young, the young man.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's very sad. And, here you think these guys, Scott Baio, like everybody had a crush on him when we were little, and not a good person.
No,
How
no.
about the Shah's Mike Shuhad and
Is it
the
Shuhad or
video of him,
Shoeid?
Shoeid, the video of him
Like
physically
you said.
abusing his fiance? Did you see the
Oh, I
video?
didn't see it.
Oh
I
yeah.
did not.
Oh, he's got hands on her.
Paulina, that one?
Paulina.
Paulina?
He looks like a real mean motherfucker in that video. Yep.
I mean, I didn't see the video, but it doesn't surprise me. He definitely had anger issues.
Yep. Yep.
It's
So
sad.
hopefully he goes to jail because I believe he was charged with assault and battery.
And how recent was that?
That was very recent, I believe, like within the past few weeks. I don't think that's.
It was a, oh, it happened recently or it came out recently? Because I thought they had broke up a while ago.
I think it happened recently, but I could be wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's just coming out now, but why? Why would it just come out now?
Maybe because she's had enough. Like maybe I don't know. I don't know. We need to find that out though.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll look into that more. And the
Yeah.
last thing I had was, Wendy Williams and Diddy, and that Wendy's been trying to tell us about Diddy for a long time, apparently. She had a
Yeah.
compromising picture of him down in Florida with another man back in the 90s, and he basically got her fired from Hot 97 and then sent some girl group who Candy's promoting right now on her Instagram.
Oh,
Total, that girl group, basically had them go threaten Wendy at the studio, at the radio
that's
station.
crazy.
She said in 2015 on the Wendy Williams show that Puff was controlling Cassie. And then all of a sudden in 2017, he shows up on the show and they squash their beef and he tells her how proud of her he is and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
But
It's
Wendy's been trying to tell
I
us
think a
about
lot
Puff.
I think a lot more is going to come out. I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot more is going to come out about that. I think
Yep,
we're going to find out more.
for sure.
So what else do we have? So Candace is not coming back to Potomac.
I'm gonna miss her. Oh, I did watch the reunion though. I didn't watch
You
all
did?
season. I gotta be honest with you.
That's okay.
I just can't stand Giselle and Robin. I can't fucking
I
stand
know.
them.
I know. I watched the whole season and I watched the reunion, but I didn't take notes on any of it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you, but Robin's gone too. Robin's not coming
Robin got
back.
fired. Fine. Listen, you can't
Yep.
lie straight to Andy Cohen's face and think you're keeping your job. You're not bringing that much. You're lying. You're not bringing anything to
Yep.
the show except accusations on other people's husbands that are unfounded. And meanwhile, your husband's swinging his John around left and right.
We're calling it a John now.
Oh, I used the F word a couple of times. I figured I wouldn't say the D word. I'll try to
You're so funny.
balance
Clean
it
it
out.
up. Okay. Um, so, and then Karen was arrested for driving under the influence
Now that
after her
happened after the
accident.
reunion, right? So they're not going to bring that up at the
Yes,
reunion.
they're not going to bring it up at the reunion, but I'm very curious to see what happens with that because her statement afterwards was ridiculous. She
Oh,
was kind of blaming it on her mother and, mourning her mother, and she was distracted. No, you were intoxicated and
yeah.
you shouldn't have been driving. And,
And it
there's no
doesn't sound
reason
like
for it.
this is the first time she's gotten pulled over for driving under the
Well,
influence.
she didn't get pulled over. She crashed.
Oh, that's right. That's
You know,
right.
she was in a crash. She was in a car crash, and she declined the breathalyzer, which is, from what I understand, it's easier to get out of it if you don't do the breathalyzer.
Well,
But
yeah.
if she went to the hospital, I don't think she did though, because I don't think she was injured. I was gonna say if she went to the hospital, they could do a blood draw, but I don't think she
Yeah.
did. Um, and something else. Oh, Mia. I think Mia is the star of the season for Potomac this past season.
Yeah. But she's messy. I understand her
Is she
husband was
messy though?
aware of what was going on. Well,
I
come on, she
well,
came on the
yeah. Is she
show.
messy?
She's been sleeping with her high school sweetheart her whole marriage, and you come on the show and basically make it like, you have this perfect marriage with this older man. She lied too, basically.
I don't
She
think
did.
she
She
lied.
was on a reality show and she had a whole other life going on.
They had an agreement. The agreement was that you don't embarrass me and you don't let it come out in public. And she didn't let it come out in public until after he was getting, she'd already separated from him at that point. I mean, when they were in therapy, she had said that she was, going to file. She met with a lawyer to file for divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even when, I mean, you did see the last episode where they picked the cameras up again and they
Yeah.
were in the apartment and he had locked her in. I mean, he'd locked her in the apartment, wouldn't let her leave.
Oh, I didn't even catch
That's,
that.
yeah, that's a bit controlling. Like, listen, he's no angel. And she
Right.
said, he's a good father. He's a good father. He knew what the story was. She didn't lie about that. And she was
I know, but
very
why go
open.
on a reality show? Like, why are you on a reality show if this is your reality? You're not going to share it. So what are you doing? It's just all like false advertisement. She's just a big liar, in my opinion. And this guy thinks that her son is his. She told somebody in one of the scenes that she had to do IVF for that kid. So where are you going? Like you're just a liar.
Oh,
I mean,
I didn't know that.
that I didn't catch that either, but I saw a post on Instagram that there's a scene where I don't know if they're getting pedicures or something, and I forget who she's even with. It might be Wendy. And she said that she had to do IVF. So what are you doing? You're just a big old liar. And I get it, it's not like it used to be. Like the first season of OC was the best to me because it was truly their lives. And, now it's turned into something much bigger. But if that's your reality, that you're sleeping with your high school sweetheart, and whether your husband's okay with it or not, don't go on a reality show unless you're going to make that part of your reality.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You're given this opportunity, you know? Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot changed for her. I mean, they had the whole aligned or what is it called? The
the
joint
joint.
chiropractic. I mean,
There was one in Wall.
they lost all that. I know. I know. I mean, they lost a lot. I mean, so
Yeah,
listen, at least she admitted it. Like when it came out, like she admitted it when the
yeah.
marriage was over. Robin is still maintaining that her husband's not doing anything when everybody
Oh,
knows that he is. And she
even
knows it, and we all know she knows it. Like
even Tess
that's
was
what I
sitting with
call
me watching the reunion. Tess has never probably ever watched a show of Potomac, and she was like, what is wrong with her?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a mess." Like she just deflects, comes after other people's husbands. I'm curious to see what happens tonight because tonight they're gonna bring Chris out, uh, Candace's husband, and they're gonna talk about supposedly some dick pic he sent to some woman. But
oh, but
there's
she
Robin.
retracted it.
The woman retracted the
Yeah.
the dick pic.
Yes, she said that it wasn't. She said that she lied about it.
So did that happen after the reunion was filmed?
No, I think that I don't think so. I think that's what we're going to see.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think so. We're gonna. I guess we'll wait and see what happens tonight.
How about Giselle laughing when Candace started crying? I mean, Candace is a crier. She just cries. I'm a crier.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're genuine tears. It's not like they're fake.
Right. And Giselle starts
I mean, why
laughing
are you?
like, fuck you.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a Giselle fan. I really
No.
never was.
Mm-mm.
I feel bad for her daughters.
I do too. And listen, the whole death threat thing, I'm on Candace's side there. Like, it's not her fault you're getting death threats. You're in the public eye. You could get death threats about anything. If she's feeling a certain way about you, you're on a show together, she can say whatever she wants.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Oh well.
I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
I do not.
Okay. Thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.